We are now joined by the man himself, the noble one, the noble cop, Sergeant Kevin Watson, formerly of the Jamaica Latches Scam Task Force. He later moved on to the Major Organized Crime Investigative Branch, MOCA, and I think he was a part of some task force after that. He will tell you everything. But welcome, Sir Watson. Really and truly appreciate you being here. So just introduce yourself to the people, them, because a long time then they are wait for you.
Yeah, big up teach them. More and big up everybody in the stream right now. Most people would be familiar with me as the police behind the fight against lottery scam in Jamaica. Although I'm much more than that, right? But that is what I'm well known for. I've been serving in the JCF. I served in the JCF rather for 7 years and 8 months, and I left as a sergeant of police.
Teach them! Always make sure the message I reach them!
Yes, Sir Watson. So, I mean, everybody in the stream knows you. I mean, it is well documented. Your fight against the lottery scam. Many persons probably not are not aware of the fact that you'd have probably moved on to Mocha, though. I mean, those persons who do not watch your channel and stuff. But before we go any further, let's deal with the elephant in the room, so to speak. I mean, you would have posted a video, and the persons who would have not seen that video yet, you can go and watch the video after you finish watching the stream. That Sergeant Watson will be stepping away from the Jamaica Constabulary Force after what, 8.5 years, somewhere in that region.
7 years and 8 months.
7 years and 8 months, right?
Yeah.
So, you have resigned.
So definitely. I resigned a week ago, and for those persons who are wondering why, this is something that I've been contemplating for, probably 2 or 3 years now. And, I just finally made up my mind. I am attending school overseas, as I would have mentioned in some of my videos on my channel. And based on my goal, I don't think that being in the JCF, you understand, would be beneficial to me, especially the fact that I intend to go a little further with my studies. The JCF is an organization that, you have to go through a certain process or a certain channel to get the time that you need to further your education. And for when I took the time off to go to school, I got 1 year study leave. But my intention is to go beyond the 1 year, and so I realized that it would not be feasible for me to remain in the JCF, as that would probably somehow impact my goal. So, the JCF has been a wonderful organization. I enjoyed serving in the JCF and enjoyed serving the people of Jamaica. But, sometimes you reach a point in your life where you have to make some decisions for, for better yourself, really. You understand? So, although I enjoyed serving in the JCF and serving the people of Jamaica, I definitely had to make this choice. I had to make a choice, and the choice was to really, put my goals first.
Yeah, makes sense. I don't know, because when I watched the video, it did not mention your specific course of study. I don't know if something that you're keeping under your belt or something that you would be willing to share with the viewers.
No, I don't have a problem sharing. So as I said before, this was something that I've been planning for a while. So I completed an undergrad in Jamaica, and I also completed my MBA. And so, my intention was to really do another postgrad program, in a foreign country or an overseas program. So I'd applied for a program, in Canada, as it relates to information system security and project management, and that is what I'm doing now.
Awesome, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
before I go any further, congrats on the work that you would have done for the country. I mean, you would have made sacrifices, I'm sure. You would have given up money to serve in the Jamaica Constabulary Force because you were involved in the private sector at one point in time. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I don't know, you'd probably have to take a pay cut in order to serve the country.
Right. And thank you very much. And when I say this to people, a lot of persons, say that something must be wrong with me. I'm mad. How am I leave a job that was so lucrative? Because I worked as IT manager for many years in the private sector, and a very good paying job, and so on. But policing, you know, is something that I've always loved, and as I mentioned in my video that I did, my last day as a cop, I talked about an uncle, an uncle by my mother's side of the family who was a police officer for many years, before he resigned and migrated. And then on my father's side of the family, I have an uncle who served as a police officer in the States for many years until he retired. So, policing is in my blood. It is something that I've always loved. And so when I made the transition, it was not so difficult for me because, I was going to do something that I've always wanted to do and something that I loved. Um, it was definitely a big pay cut. The good thing with my transition was that, I served the organization that I worked with for close to 13 years. I'd served the organization so well working as IT manager that they allowed me to join the police force. And so I did not leave that job until I served, I think it was up, I served 2 years in the JCF while working as IT manager for that company. So, after serving 2 years in the JCF, I had to make a choice whether to stay with the JCF or to go back full time in that job.
So you are most known for your work with the anti-lottery scam task force, right?
Right.
And many persons view lottery scamming as a vacuum. Many persons tend to think that it is young men who are not educated, who are unattached, who not have no other option, who get involved in lottery scamming. Personally, I am of a different view because based on just doing this YouTube thing and paying attention to the media, I would have seen many professionals, many persons who are university graduates who would have been implicated, arrested, convicted, and sentenced for lottery scamming. So I want you to just give me a little bit of background on the work that you would have done while you were a part of the lottery scam task force. And generally speaking, what was the general socio-economic background and the general demographics of the persons who would have been implicated in lottery scamming based on your experience?
Well, based on my experience investigating lottery scam matters, you have like a wide cross section of different people involved in the activities. Especially back in the days when it was quite prevalent, you had university graduates who were involved in lottery scamming activities. I mean, I can say this now. You had politicians who supported the activities. And if you have been watching the lottery scam task force over the years, you would have seen where we arrested, a
A
well-known
counselor,
politician,
a
yeah, a well-known
counselor, yes, man.
politician back in Montego
Montego
Bay,
Bay.
right? Um, and and so you had like teachers involved. I remember one operation, we arrested a teacher and her husband for their involvement in
Yeah, I
lottery scam.
remember that story very well.
Right. So it's not just people from a certain sector of society, as we would call it. It's not just people from the inner city who don't have no job and them something. As a matter of fact, the people them who were more successful in the scam are educated
Yeah,
persons.
because let me interject now, Sir Watson. I am assuming that is because there's a level of know-how, a level of education with those persons, and they would be able to use whatever knowledge they have to fleece people better than
Yeah,
somebody who would not be schooled, especially at a higher
exactly.
level.
Right. So a lot of the top tier scammers, the scammers who would have said, boy, I them I make the whole of the money. Those persons were persons who were well educated, right? And understood how to empathize with people. They were very intelligent. They were able to adapt to um, the accent, the American accent or Canadian accent quite well. It's not like some. Yes, we had some persons who were not so educated who has tried and succeeded, but they weren't
As
as
successful.
successful. Yeah, they weren't as
Interesting.
successful, right? And what you also found was that these persons um, would actually recruit young people out of high school, young people in high school, and so on. And then let me say this: Jamaicans, we can be the best of the best
And
or
the
the worst
worst
of
of
the
the
worst.
worst.
And there's no doubt that Jamaicans are quite talented. I mean, everywhere we go, we really stand out. But when you find a Jamaican that is bad, trust me,
Bad.
bad. Um, so my time investigating these offenses, I realized I found out that there were a wide cross section of people who were involved. But then you also had those high school students who were just talented, who were good at learning the trade of empathizing and sympathizing with their victims and so on to get money to get them to send money. Um, you know, I've come across 15-year-old who have two houses, several
15, hold
cars
on.
on the road.
Let me bring up my face so people can see me. When you say, sir, what's a 15-year-old with two
Yeah, man.
houses?
Back in the days, we had 15-year-old. I mean, I remember a story. A teacher saw a little 15-year-old youth where she used to teach on the road, and stand up beside him, nice, brand new motor vehicle. And she should have said to him, say, boy, Derek, what me not see at school? Him said, teach school. Him say, you see where I don't know, I take taxi. You
Mm.
see that carrier for me car this and a two house me bill already and I have three more car on the road. Where you tell me about school.
Yeah, boy,
You know,
things that away.
unfortunately that young man end up dying. But
Yeah, because many of them, before you go any further, I'm happy that you raised that point. Because you see, part of the problem with the latches cabin thing, as Jamaicans, sometimes we don't know when to satisfy. See, I mean, it's a crime. Mark it, we
yeah,
can't go around that. But at the end of the day, some man go one time and them eat a food and them get craving, Sir Watson, and man start kill man for lead cheat, man start buy a gun, and then it's a whole other dynamics to the thing that one whole
right.
family dead, house burned down.
Listen, when me tell people say lottery scamming in Jamaica back in the days was almost as bad as the illegal drug trade, people may think that me don't know what me I say, but me I tell you, lottery scamming, I believe, was even more lucrative because here what now? With lottery scamming, you never need no overhead.
Mm-mm.
If you are going at drugs, you have to have some money to
Yeah,
spend.
cause you have to go purchase some drugs. Start the
E-
thing.
exactly. With a scammer, him no need that. All him need is one little cell phone, and most of the scammer them back in the days, them used to use some phone we call bangers.
Burners
Yeah,
and
yeah,
bangers.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. One them where you can't really to or well,
Trace.
them feel so we
You
can't
can't
trace
trace
them,
them.
right? And all them do is them have that the phone there and them have a little lead list. And the
Mm-hmm.
lead list them can them could even get the lead list in a different ways. The
Mm-hmm.
the the sad part about it is that a whole heap of the lead list them where scammers used to fight over. A lead list will come directly from the US. You understand? So
So hold on, pause here. You're suggesting that those lists were deliberately sent.
yeah, man. So you have people in the US, you call them brokers, lead list
Oh, that's
brokers.
what I mean. I was thinking about it that different way. I was thinking you're suggesting that law enforcement officials from the US would have sent those lists to entrap people. But okay,
No,
understand what
no,
you're
man.
saying.
No. No, may I say that the list where these scammers get them hand on with people information are lead lists that are usually sent from the US, from what we call lead list brokers, and these persons would be paid
Yeah.
to send these lists.
So, question though, I mean, where do you think we are now in relation to the lottery scam fight? Many persons would have been extradited, many persons would have been arrested and convicted in Jamaica, many persons would have died. But you and I know that it is still ongoing. And since
Yeah.
you'd have left the lottery scam task force, I'm sure you'd have still been keeping an eye and you'd have had friends and colleagues who are still working in that unit. What is the consensus on the ground as it relates to the fight and where we are in that fight?
Uh, well, all right. First of all, I would be naive and very foolish if I said to you that, boy, lottery scamming don't exist in Jamaica anymore. I mean, most definitely we still have a problem, but as it relates to where it was, you know, 7 years ago when I started the fight, it is nowhere there. I remember when I just became a police officer as a young constable, I used to see people, on the road on them phone, a scam. You understand? And let me tell you something. I am from Otrius. And to be honest with you, I worked in the IT industry. I worked as IT manager in the background. And so I wasn't really seeing much of that in Otrius. So when I come to Mobile and see all of that, I was kind of surprised. I remember one day I go out with a detective and um, the detective said to me, say, the detective had tell me about the whole scamming thing. And him said to me, say, all right, watch this. We see a little schoolboy I come from, I think, it was St. James High. And we stopped the little school youth and we said to him, say, you know, I don't remember if the youth was so based on when I go on, the police stop him and ask him for a search on him bag. And when the police search him bag, is a whole heap of lead listing take out a little youth bag. So from them the time them I say, all right, so everywhere you go, people are scam. Them never afraid for scam, them never afraid for police. You understand? Um, so basically when we started the fight, we actually use a zero tolerance approach, and we were able to very quickly send these scammers underground. Although we never had the legislation to work with when we just started, what we used to do is use other legislations to arrest these persons, to get them off of the streets. You understand? With a fine based on evidence uplifted from them phone and the search conducted at their houses and so on. We would use some of the powers that we had, like to be able to hold them for, I think at the time we could have hold them for 48 hours, without charge, right, without charging them. And then after a while, them drop it back down to 24 hours. But that's essentially what we used to do. And I think the effort of the Lottery Scam Task Force kind of helped with the progression of the legislation to deal with the offenses as it relates to lottery scamming. And one of the things that we used to do is that, as I said, we used to use other legislation like, for scammers who have things that them could not account for, their money, them income could not substantiate
Appreciate.
the assets what them have. What we would do is seize those assets and charge them for unlawful possession because many of them could not show how they came in possession of these assets, like some high-end motor vehicles. I remember
House.
yeah man, I remember seizing things like Lincoln Navigators. You understand? Mercedes Benz, the Infinity SUVs. You understand me? I say BMWs.
The money in
Uh,
there right now.
I remember. I don't know if the BMW X6 them
Yes, man.
were expensive, and I remember some years ago when we seized a X6 from a scammer. It was valued at about 13 to 14 million Jamaican dollars. You understand?
Boy.
So once we started seizing these motor vehicles, we started creating an impact. And then the whole strategy of, making the public know what's happening was another effort to kind of get Jamaica on our side,
Yeah.
you know, because what we used to find is that a whole heap of Jamaicans in a Jamaica never really know what going on. Them hear about the killing and the murders and the gang activities, and them never know say a lottery scammer cause all of these things. So one of the strategies was really for me to get out there to the public and inform them of what
Yeah.
is happening.
I mean,
Inform
the
them,
YouTube channel did a wonderful job in helping to showcase the fight.
yeah, because I tell you something, as soon as we start to put it out there to the public, show them what lottery scamming I do to the country and what I do to young people and so on. We start to get the support. I start to get support. I remember getting information from people, just left, right, and center. People are sending information. So that was good. And then in 2013, in March of 2013, we were given the law reform fraudulent
Yeah,
transaction
man. I
special
remember that piece
special
a lot.
provision. Right. And I remember when it just come in, everybody has said, no, man, it's too draconic, it's too vicious. So, you understand? Because it was a piece of legislation that was designed to effectively, curtail the activities. So, the offense of possession of identity information, Section 10 of the legislation, some attorneys, when I said, no, man, that too drastic, man, because we never need any complainant.
Mm-hmm.
We just needed to find, once we found someone with identity information,
They had grounds
which,
on which to proceed.
right, after questioning them and based on our investigations, if they could not substantiate any legal reasons or give us any legal reasons, why they had it in their possession, then that we could proceed with charging them and putting them before the court.
Okay, a couple of things, Sir Watson. Somebody keep on saying a number of things. When say up top teach. Big up Iraq Entertainment. Somebody keeps saying why I cut you when you were speaking about the 15-year-old. And the question is, how did the 15-year-old die? So let me appease that person.
Oh, he was murdered.
More than likely, because
Yeah, man,
again, you
he
never need
was
a rocket
murdered. Yeah,
scientist to say that stuff.
yeah.
All right,
And
so
and the funny thing is that these, I mean, remember now, no, these 15-year-old. Usually, when you find a 15-year-old involved in lottery scamming, the whole family is behind it too now. You understand? He might get support from mommy, he might get support from daddy,
guys,
and
gonna bring in
everybody
money
else.
for everybody.
Yeah, man. Then I might feed the family.
Yep.
So in my big things, and nobody not tell him where he might go wrong neither. You understand?
Because when we
Because
see money, nothing else matter to we as Jamaicans, You
then
understand?
yeah.
That is
So
a part of the problem. See, before we proceed, Mr. Watson, all the persons who are watching who are here for the first time, welcome. But I cannot interject the sergeant while you speak to big up people. So for those persons who are here, welcome. And we're speaking with Sergeant Kevin Campbell, the noble cop.
Watson. Watson.
Sorry, the noble cop. He would have resigned from the JCF, and we're here speaking about some of his experience and time in the JCF. So you'd have transitioned from the Lottery Scam Task Force to MOCA.
Yeah.
How long were you in MOCA?
All right. So let me give you a little history. The Lottery Scam Task Force was started from January of 2012. It was started in January of 2012. So the Lottery Scam Task Force predates MOCA. After the forming of the Lottery Scam Task Force and we start to do our thing, we start to carry out our operations, then they formed MOCA, which was the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption a task force. It was a task force, right?
Okay.
And so the Lottery Scam Task Force, because it was such a small unit, they brought us under the umbrella of
MOCA.
MOCA, right?
Oh, so I'm just learning that now. Okay.
Yeah, man. So the Lottery Scam Task Force was brought under MOCA.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Cool.
So and that was in 2012 when the MOCA Task Force was launched. And because MOCA as a bigger unit was getting more resources, and so for us to get some of those resources to continue the fight, then they had to bring us on the MOCA.
Okay.
And then so the task force went on. We did quite a bit of work on up until 2014 when they merged the anti-corruption branch with MOCA. And MOCA now became the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, which was a division by itself.
Okay.
Right.
So there was some work. So let's speak about this. It says I was a bit concerned with some of the tenants in the lottery scam law there, where a person would be found guilty for a lottery scam and he's asked to pay $50,000, $100,000. So would have made millions of dollars. So I had some issues with some of the sentences, but the reality is that they were off the street, and I am for making small steps to bigger things. But there were some stuff with it that I wasn't 100% comfortable with, because some of these same persons, even though they weren't on trial for murder, they were on trial for a lottery scamming. Many of them would have been involved in serious crimes in relation to lottery scam. So I had concerns about that, because people were saying, okay, if I am making millions and I get caught and I am paying a few $100,000, I mean, what's the deal? You understand?
Yeah.
So I don't know if persons who were involved in the task force would have pointed that out to the persons who would have been able to get through to lawmakers and point that out.
So, and I understand what you're saying. I had done a media release some years ago talking about that, and I'm going to be honest with you, I was chastised in the court for it because I was saying that, obviously the sentencing that were being handed down to these scammers were not enough to deter them from the activities. Right. And but then again, you have to understand that the justice system is made up of two arms. You have the police, or several arms. I know about the police.
Yeah.
We are not judge, jury, and executioner.
We're not a part of the judiciary, but
we are not a part of the judiciary, exactly. And so we can only investigate and put it before the court.
Yeah, fair enough.
It is right. So it is up to the court to decide what kind of punitive sanction to take.
Punitive is the right word.
Right. So my thing is this. There's no way that a police officer can dictate to the court how much a man should get what kind of fine should be handed down.
True,
we don't have that the kind of talk there.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I know that 100%, man.
Because once we step into the court as police officers, that's it. We don't have no more. We don't have the judge at the judge rule there. So I remember I entered a courtroom one day, and I don't know what I did to this judge, but the judge looked at me and said, Mr. Watson, you see, when you step in my courtroom, I run things inside here. You may run things out there on the road, but my courtroom, this, And I was really confused because I was like, so, I mean, me know this, so
Yeah,
me
of
don't
course I know
understand
this.
where that where, I don't understand where that coming from. But
Probably stab somebody food somewhere. I don't
yeah,
know. I know anything go.
yeah. But the fact is this, right? We as police officers, we have to allow the justice system to take the action that it sees necessary to take. Um, can you imagine? Sometimes we've been. I remember, in many cases I've worked on for example, I've worked on a matter for months, building the case, and when you put it before the court, it got trial, you find the man guilty. Um, you give him a slap on the wrist. You give him 2 years suspended sentence with $500,000 fine. Or you think we feel as police officers?
Can
Uh,
imagine.
right.
Can
So,
imagine.
but the good thing is that the fight helped,
It
and
did. It did.
right. And then I was involved in a lot of investigations that led to extraditions too. So that was also good because the major extradition that took place as it relates to lottery scamming in Jamaica, I was a part of that investigation. I went several times to the States to,
Oh, you did. Okay.
yes, to testify as an expert witness and also as a fact witness. And I want to say that my investigation, the investigation that I was involved in, rather, with the FBI, was not only about arresting Jamaican scammers,
Mm-hmm.
but it was arresting Americans
Yeah,
who
just pause
assisted
right there. Pause right
in the
because
scam.
somebody
Yeah.
as because I've been monitoring the comments in but you I don't want to interrupt. Because somebody is saying they haven't heard of a situation where a broker, the person providing the data and the lead sheets, they are saying I think Keita Scott said them never hear of any of those persons being arrested
No,
and charged.
yes, man.
Okay, so speak to that.
Sanjay Williams in 2015, one of the biggest leadless broker here in a sen- in a not one of the biggest leadless broker out of Montego Bay, Sanjay Williams. Can go up online
I know
and
about Sanjay Williams, man.
yeah, man. Yeah, he was arrested in the States, and he was a leadless broker. That is what him do because him never skill enough for for operate as a scammer. He found it more lucrative to
To be a
work as a
broker.
leadless, yeah, to be a leadless broker, and he must spend about what 24 years up there now. That's the first case I was involved with overseas, you know.
Mm.
But Sanjay Williams was a very smart man because what he used to do is that him have some links overseas. Can him all register a company in the States, you know. That's how skilly he was, you know. Him register a company and recruit persons to work with him in the States, and then he would buy the lead list from persons in the States and sell it to Jamaican scammers, but him not sell it like a local man. So Jamaican scammers would be buying these lead lists and I know say it's a Jamaican them a buy it from. Them think it's a foreign man. You understand? And he saw that that was more lucrative because him could have get more money that way there.
Yeah.
Guys, imagine if the scammers them locally in a Jamaica did know say it's a Jamaican. I sell the lead list them. You know that go.
Yep,
You
definitely.
understand? So
Well,
but he was that skilled. So yeah, and I have personally arrested leadless brokers
okay.
during my tenure
I
investigating
guess
lottery scam.
because it normally say a lottery scammer arrested. You know, I guess persons who are not understanding that involved in that you would have brokers and other persons. So thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, man.
All right. So I'm assuming that it is safe to say that your time being a part of the lottery scam task force and subsequently Mocha would have been satisfactory for you as somebody who is a patriot, as somebody who wants what is best for Jamaica.
Yeah. Of course. And I think that mine, working as a police officer was not only my intention for, just lock up people. And it was not about punishing people, but it was helping to reform our young people and showing them the right path. You understand? So, as a police officer, I can tell you that I've always tried my best to guide, you know, these people that I've arrested on the right path. So there are many cases where I arrest a scammer and I would sit down for a little while and talk to him and say,
I've
listen to
seen
my
videos
boss.
like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I've shared some stories about scammers, getting them live together and getting decent jobs and seeing me on the road and I thank, and I said, boy, Mr. Watson, the best thing you ever do for me is arrest me. So and it made me feel good because it says what the justice system should be. It should be a system to reform people.
Reformation.
Yeah, it's not about punishment.
Rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, right? So because sometimes we think about it as punishing people, and I realize that when punishing somebody not necessarily are gonna reform him,
True that.
because if you not show him the wrong and then show him the right way,
Still
and
a come back, come
yeah, because him not him
come
just
offend.
because you never show him the right way,
True.
you never show him a better way, you never show him a way out of the situation with him, so he might go back in it. You understand me? I say.
Mm-hmm.
So my intention was always to help some of these young people. Some of them, you talk to them, me talk to a whole heap of people, and you arrest them and them get bail, and in 2 weeks them dead.
Yeah.
You understand? Because them continue the activities. A whole heap of scammers. I've had cases before the court, and a whole heap of them not live for go trial.
Yeah.
So that's all the scamming thing that said. But I can tell you that scamming as it is no, as it was is not the same. No, I mean we have seen a significant decrease in the number of persons getting involved in the activities. It means more and more people are realizing it don't make no sense.
Worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, right.
All right, so I mean, hopefully it continues to trend down. Hopefully the youths continue to wise up because you have many youths who you ask them what they want to become these days. One or three things: they want to become an artist, a scammer, or a gunman.
Right.
And you have some youth brazen enough to tell it that Mr. Watson. Like, my teacher, when a youth look at me and tell me that me get dark, sir. But
me share that story over and over again. Me go when I started the Stop Lottery Scamming campaign. So that's one of the things that I initiated and did for a year. Getting into the schools and encouraging children, not to get involved with scamming. And I remember I went to a school in Mobay. One of the first presentation I made. And a teacher came to me and said, Mr. Watson, I know you come here to do a presentation to the entire school, but I want you to take my class personally and talk to them, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I said, why? She said, all right, hold on, stay here, so. And she go for 3 little boy. And she bring them over to me. And she said, you see them 3 little boy? Them tell everybody in the class, say, them want to turn scammers. A scammer, that's how way them want to be. And me look on the little boy, them and say, "Are true? You don't want to be scammers?" And them say, look on me and say, "Yes, sir." I mean, them never hold long their head. Them never go on like say, boy, them afraid to say it. Them looking at my face and say, "Yes, sir, a scammer will want to turn." So when I ask them, I reason with them, I say, why? Why don't want to turn scammer? Them say, sir, because scammer have the nicest car and them party every day and them not for work. And
Sir Watson, my apologies, true confessions. That was an accident. My sincere apologies about that. Yes, Sir Watson.
Yeah, man. So so you actually had children who said that they want to grow up to be scammers because the communities where them come from, them see scammers that live big life.
Yep.
Hype life. I drink champagne every day. I take champagne and wash them car and
party Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah, party Sunday to Sunday. And exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So they aspire to be that, and so that is why I found at the time that the Stop Lottery Scamming campaign was so critical, And that was not the only school. I went to other schools in Area 1 where it was the same. And when me say these things, people said to me, say, boy, a liar, like you just have make up some stories. You understand? But these are things that I experienced firsthand and nobody tell me. You
Yeah,
understand?
definitely,
So yeah.
definitely. I mean, all of us know the situation. Many persons have their notions and perceptions about the Jamaica Constabulary Force, right? What would you say is the biggest single issue affecting the Jamaica Constabulary Force?
All right. Boy, the single biggest issue. All right, so let me just say this. The Jamaica Constabulary Force still have some dinosaurs in it. And I'm not going to beat around the bushes where that is concerned. We have some persons at the executive level who came up in an old system, the old way of doing things. And even though we are moving forward, we have evolved as a people, as a country, they're still thinking that way. They're still using the same kind of strategies. You understand?
Not moving with the
Um,
times.
yes, and I think that is one of our biggest problems. Now we see where they are trying to modernize the force. As a matter of fact, they have put things in place to help to bring the GSAF up to a modern police service. And the funny thing is that I don't believe that we will see the impact of these changes until we have these dinosaurs out of the
Out of the
system.
system.
Right,
Interesting.
right.
Interesting.
And a lot of these persons who I call dinosaurs, even if they're not at the executive level, even if they're foot soldiers, some of them are the same persons who have the corrupt mentality. Because we find that I'm telling you that the police officers that we have coming in now, you can see that these persons want to make the organization better,
Yeah.
right? And if you notice, we are seeing a shift now. We are seeing kind of a shift in the style of policing. It is not as fast or progressive as we would like to, we'd want to have it. But I am seeing that, right? So corruption is a big issue. Corruption, no, there's no doubt. Let me tell you something. There are a majority of police officers serving in the JCF are decent police officers who want to see Jamaica better. But I'm going to tell you, you have some police officers, right? They are so corrupt that they are bringing down the organization with their corrupt activities, and they what they some of them, I believe, do not want the change, because if they get this change, then them now go, as we would have said,
Then
they
can't eat
now
a
go,
food
they now,
again.
that's is what I want to say. They can't eat no food again. You understand? And I can tell you, I know, and I'm not afraid to say this. I know that there are many police officers who liked me as their colleagues, who respected me, but there were many
Who
who
did
never
not?
like a bone in me.
Yeah, because you are against what they are for.
Yeah.
So you know the thing go.
You understand? Yeah,
Boy.
but police would have said, boy, where this little coolie man come from? I go and like say him, you
Where
understand
you
him
going
better
with?
than, yeah. I want to him.
Ah
No
boy.
say food have to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Ah boy.
And some I'm not going to go on beat around the bushes. I'm not going to, say, boy, I know it no exists, and come on, it's obvious. Everybody see it.
It's
You know?
obvious.
Yeah, but at the same time, I am happy that I, had the opportunity to work with some really good police officers. As a matter of fact, a man know say once me dep on an operation, him no bother with that the foolishness there.
You
And
ever
one of
call him out?
yeah, man. And one of the things that I did was to make sure that every operation that I went on, me have a camera with me.
Yeah, that's
You
important,
understand?
you know,
Yeah, man.
because that's
So
important.
I'm carrying cameras on my operations from before them talk about
Body
police
cams.
officers. Yeah, body cams. I remember I went on an operation and some police officers complained, say, boy, oh, me have camera upon the operation and so on. And the senior the officers called me and said, boy, enough to carry no more camera upon the operation and even write me a letter and I said, well, you know what? If I'm not going to be able to carry my camera upon the operation, I'm not going upon the operation. Because what some of these guys want to do, they want to go, there's some of the, I mean, I'm the bad ones. They
Mm-hmm.
want to go, they go do what them feel like do. And I decided that I was not going to allow anyone to mess up my reputation within the organization. You know, one thing I've always said, I came into the organization with my integrity, right? And I decided that I would be leaving with my integrity. There's not one criminal out there, and I can say this with high confidence. Not one criminal can ever say, right, that I've even entertained the very thought of accepting dirty money.
You know, somebody just
Because
asked
money
a
was,
question there. Somebody just said,
yeah,
ask Sergeant
money.
Watson. Hold on, this Sarge.
Mhm.
If you ever see any exchange of money between criminals and police officers before, so talk about that
I
in that
no,
just in.
I have never seen it, and let me tell you why I've never seen it. Because teach them every police who know me and every criminal who hear about me know say me not stand for them. There's something there. So if
Yeah,
it go on, it not go on in front of me.
yeah, definitely.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, as a standing for righteousness is always something that you have to be careful when you do it. But for me, it was either that, right, or you have to go take me out because me not gonna stand for the foolishness. I've been on operations when me I lead the operations. Me I lead and I can share these things with people. I don't um you know I don't have to beat around the bushes with this because as I said before, we have good and bad, and we have been seeing the good and we have been seeing the bad, right?
True.
But I've been in situations where police officer may run and may lead the operation and police come to me and say, boy, yo, we find the wanted man. We have a way where we can deal with it. Me say, deal with what? If we find the wanted man, right, and he's not a threat, we are taking him in. You understand? And I'm not saying that certain situations not call for police to be aggressive, but I'm not going to be dishonest. You understand? Because I won't have anything on my conscience.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah, so I've had situations like that, and I won't even entertain the very thought of where you intend for, where you want to do. Me only want know so you understand, say, as the man who will lead this operation, we carrying in this man. You understand? Because this man is not a threat,
Yeah, definitely.
right? And as far as I see it, I always say, as police officers, we are not judge, jury, and executioner. It is not our duty to go out there and execute people upon the spot if they are not a threat, no matter how we feel about them. You understand me? I say,
True, true.
if you feel that a man is giving problem, then make sure you find the man while he might get the problem, right? And when you find him while he might get the problem, guess what he might try? He might retaliate. Then that
That
give you
different. Yeah, because you might
that
put you in a
different.
position where you have to defend yourself.
Exactly. And let me
Mm-hmm.
just say this. I want to explicitly state that majority of police officers who acted in a uh,
Aggressive,
aggressive way,
defensive.
a defensive way, right? Let me say not aggressive, in a defensive way, right? Um, uh, the cases that most of the cases that I've seen, they are justified,
Yeah,
right?
I
So I
appreciate
don't
that.
want anybody, I don't want anybody to take what me say now and say, boy, oh, Mr. Watson, I say, boy, police just go out there and, I
I
heard
know
people for
people
nothing
stay for
at all.
true.
Right, yeah. So I want to make it clear. I want to make it clear that majority of police officers acted appropriately in a lot of the cases that we have seen, right? But you have one and two man in the organization. And these I remember me tell you about the old school, the people them who come from way back
Old
when.
school.
Yeah, man. Because my experience is that the younger police them were coming in, them brighter, no. Me not go on the
That is
corner.
true
So
still. That
brilliant.
are true. That are true.
Them are coming and them make sure them are coming with them, with them
Them
education.
subjects, some
And
of them with even
yeah,
tertiary level education.
right. And it's not only that. You find that I don't know as we evolve as a people, you know, you find that the younger generation will be brighter, them will be more exposed. I mean, look, if you have children, you realize that what them know,
We never know it
right?
when we were their
You
age.
never know it when you're their
True.
age. So you it's a natural progression that you'll find the people who are coming in the organization now are going to be brighter. So let's embrace them, man, and encourage them to build a better, JCF. But what we find is that you don't find a lot of mentors in the organization who try to, you know, build these young police officers. Them prefer fight them down and give them a hard time
Yeah, then build them and uplift them. Interesting.
than build them and uplift them. So that is one of the problems. Yeah, man.
So watch me now, Sir Watson. I'm gonna bring myself on camera so people then can see me. Cause I alone them see Sir Watson. But watch me now.
Yeah.
I often say that the three biggest issues facing Jamaica: corrupt politicians, corrupt
Yeah.
police officers, and the mentality and the mindset of Jamaicans. So you cannot speak specifically to the politicians. You can speak to the mindset of us as people. But your expertise is as a police officer. So do you think that the hierarchy and the high command of the Jamaica Constabulary Force is doing enough to eradicate corrupt police officers from the force?
From what I know, I especially respect this current commissioner of police.
Don't talk much about him yet, because I need to ask you a
Yeah.
question as we go further.
Yeah, I think that, of course, I think that there is work being done to rid the police force of corruption. There is no doubt about that. You have, as I said before, you have decent police officers who want to see the organization grow and be the best of itself, right? And so, it's going to take a while because it is so inbred. It is so, you know, um,
Embedded, entrenched,
and
ingrained.
yeah, ingrained, right, in the organization, that it's going to take a while. And remember, what I said about the residual effect. The older people them who still in the system with the same old mentality.
True.
You understand? Yeah.
So,
But you obviously you guys have been seeing the news. You have been seeing some of the things that are being put in place. So I would say that of course the JSF is actively putting things in place to combat corruption. It's just going to take a
take
while.
a while, because you see the issue with that tonight, it would have taken a long time for us to get where we are now, so it will take
Yeah.
probably equally or even a longer time to fix said problem. But
Yeah.
you are a man on the inside and a man of integrity, and if you say that you see efforts being made and ground being covered to rid the force of corruption, which probably will never happen totally, but if majority are removed, then we can move forward as a country. So that is awesome.
Right.
Will you,
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
JCF?
Of course. Of course I'll miss the JSF. I mean, it's an organization that I love. And I mean, I loved my job. I loved working as a police officer. I loved impacting people's lives. And I mean, joining the JCF, my intention was to to bring a better light, or to change the perception of people about police officers. And one of the main perceptions that I really wanted to change was that, for people to understand that police officers are humans too. Um, I also wanted to let people know that the whole idea of police officers being dunce and, you know, all them do a go on and antagonize taximan and them something there. All of that, I really wanted to dispense that and make people understand, say, you have some very intelligent police officers in the organization. As a matter of fact, people always say, boy, Mr. Watson, you're so intelligent. You know how to communicate. But I can tell you that you have so many police officers who are more brilliant than I am.
Yeah, because
They are
I
more
remember,
intelligent than
yeah,
I
not
am.
only that, I remember when the last commissioner post came up and they were talking about applicants. There was something that said about at least 20 persons in the Jamaica Constabulary Force have PhDs, and number of them have
Yeah,
their masters, and number of them have
of
their
course.
first degrees. You understand?
Yeah,
But we also know that, Sir Watson. Let's not go around the bush, Qualification on paper don't necessarily mean everything every
yeah.
time, That is the next
We know
thing.
that. I know that, and you're right about that. But you have a whole heap of police officers who just did not get the opportunity that I got to communicate with the public. Um, but you have a lot of police officers who brilliant, man, and I can tell you that if they are given the opportunity, they will make a difference in the
Reform the
organization.
force.
Yeah,
Yes.
but people, as me say, you have some people who have come from the old days, and a lot of them they are the executive level now. A lot of them they're in a leadership position, and at them are hold back the young, innovative, bright minds who really want to bring the organization forward.
That's
You
always the
understand?
case, Sir Watson.
Yeah,
It's not just in the police force, It's the same thing in education. It's the same thing in
yeah,
medicine. Wherever you go, you're going to have some,
yeah. And
as
you will
you
hear
said,
some of them say, boy,
dinosaurs that try to hold
yeah,
on. You understand the thing
yeah,
with them heavy self.
and, and you hear some of them I say, boy, you see all them little young police, yeah, them
Young
no,
bird and
them
no
just come,
storm, no.
yeah, them just coming out the thing and going like, and guess what? Them no realize that the system a change, right? And they're not moving with the
Them not
system.
evolve with the system.
I always tell the story of the 100 monkey. Then so them scientists put some monkeys on an island, right? And what them usually do is peel the banana and give the monkeys them, and the banana would have drop in the dirt and everything, and the monkey them would have still eat the banana. Them prefer eat the banana with the dirt on it and spit out the dirt. Just like go around and eat the banana. And those monkeys end up having offspring, right? The offspring, one of the offspring one day when him get the banana, he take the banana and carry it go to the river,
Go
go
wash
wash
it
it
off.
off
Man,
and
I want a
eat
dirt
it.
in him thing,
And then guess what? Going do in take all of the little offspring them and show them how to do it, and the whole of them start to
So
wash
I
off the
clean up them
banana and eat it.
banana. You
When he
just need
try if
one
it take
person.
when he try if it take him mother and him father for carry go to the spring, then push him and, and
Nah, gone away.
and take the banana and throw back in the dirt.
Yeah, eat it.
You
I'm not
understand?
willing
And
for
eat it.
change.
Them not willing to change. It's the
Yeah.
same kind of situation we are seeing in the JCF, right? Where you have some old systems and some old people who have a old way
Old
of
way of
doing things,
thinking.
and they're not willing to change. And it is not just, I think that even even the commissioners themselves saw this. There's no doubt in my mind that even the commissioner of police see this are going in the organization, but guess what? There's not a lot him can do because him can't do like a mass changeover.
It
You
takes
know,
a
him
while.
can't.
It has to be systematic
Yeah,
and incremental, a gradual
him
thing.
can't change out everybody to same time. As you have policies and regulations and whatever in place, and a lot of these people up there in a leadership position, all them want to know is that them a get them big salary every month, and that's it.
Some
and
matter
them
to
I get
them.
them concession, yeah, but nothing else matters to them, you know. So
All right, Sir Watson. Kind of go delve into a little thing, you know. If you
yeah,
were asked to write there's been this big discourse in the public, especially in the political arena recently, about a crime plan.
yeah.
So if you were asked to write or propose a crime plan for the nation, what would be the three most important aspects of said plan? Your crime plan for this nation, Jamaica land we love, land of food and water, Bob Marley, you seen about our vibes cartel.
All right, so um, all right, let me just say this. This is something that I've always said. We are approaching crime fighting in the same way that we have always approached it over the years, with aggression.
Ha.
We believe that being aggressive and the old style of policing, kick down man and shoot up man and whatever is what the solution is, right? And I understand the state of emergency situation. When you have something that is really out of hand, you have to kind of bring it down on a level, right? But for me, I think that the first thing that need to be understood is that fighting crime in a modern society is more psychological than physical.
Physical. Interesting.
Exactly. So I've always said that why we were so effective with the lottery scam task force um, was not because of our physical effort, but it was mainly because of the psychological approach that we used. And what I mean when I said this, the fact is that you have to get people to see what is happening and understand what is happening and be on your side, right? You have to change people's perception of the organization and of policing in general. Because one of the things that has to be a critical part of the crime fighting strategy is the people of Jamaica. If you don't get the people of Jamaica on the side of the police, you're not gonna move forward. Look at any a first world country now, and look at the kind of support that the police get. Yeah, you might have a minority who have a problem with the police, but I can tell you that all the first world countries that I've been to, them support them police officers. You understand me, I say? So that is one of the first strategies. We need to build relationship with the citizens. We need to create a sort of a psychological effect, changing the mindset of our people, and that can only be done, right, if we have uh, persons at the executive level and the government who are willing to put the necessary things in place to get this done. Um, Let me just say this: policing in Jamaica is tough, you know. As
It
some
is
real
tough. I can
hardcore,
imagine
as
that.
some real hardcore people we are deal with, you know. Because I'm not going to tell you that when we go out there, I've been nice to some people, very polite, very professional, and we get good results. But you have some people where no matter how nice you want to be, no matter how professional you want to be, right? Them no business about that, right? They are very aggressive. They want to fight you off. They want to do all kind of things. You understand? So I think that it is definitely going to be difficult, but that is definitely something that we need to put in place. Another thing that we need to put in place is that we need to really distinct our crime fighting strategies when dealing with different areas. So, for example, I would say that when it comes on to dealing with, troubled areas, volatile areas, the whole idea of the zones of special operations is good, right?
Yeah, it's
Going to
interesting that you
those,
brought up that because that was my next
yeah,
question, line of questioning.
yeah,
But go ahead.
right. So I think that's a good strategy, but it has to be managed properly, and it
Hmm.
has to be strategic, right? So you go into these volatile areas and you establish these zones of special operations. And of course, do what you're doing in those areas, curtail the activities, right? But you have to, one of the things that I see happening with the zones of special operations that I was a part of was that by the time we got in and cordoned the areas, some of the violent producers had the time to leave and to
Yeah,
leave with the weapons and those things too.
everything. Hmm.
Right. So
No,
I
but you
think
see, hold
we
on, sir. But you see, that comes
yeah,
back down to criminals in the Jamaica Constabulary Force because many of
right,
those persons would have become affair with the plans and they would have fed the information to them friends and them cronies in these communities.
right, right. Now that's true. So the zones of special operations, I think, is a good way going forward. Leave this whole massive SOE thing and just focus on
The
your
Zozos.
the volatile the volatile areas, and of course continue to establish zones and build communities until you kind of normalize
Yeah.
the situation. Just like what we have seen in Mount Salem and so on.
Hmm.
But we have to be persistent. And I think one of the biggest problems that we find in Jamaica with our crime fighting strategies is that we are not consistent.
Yeah. We
We are
talk a
not
lot, but we don't act a lot,
right, right. We are not consistent. And I can tell you, as a police officer, for the little just for this, I mean, people that look upon me and say, boy, you never in the force for no time. Oh, yeah, come to but for the little time I spend in the force, what I've realized is that when you find the police come up with a strategy and the strategy start to produce result, suddenly
a government
somebody
policy.
somebody just dismantle the whole thing.
Mm.
You understand? And say,
Because you
oh,
step on a man toe now, Sir Watson, you saw a man food.
right. And so that lead me to the next point. The next point is to deal with corruption in a zero tolerance way.
Can't be no other
And
number, sir.
yeah,
Zero.
in a zero when me says, no matter who it is, if a man corrupt, no matter what much money him have and when position him have in a society, deal with it and set an example. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest problems, and I mean, I'm not saying that Jamaica is the only country with these sets of problems, but I think in Jamaica it's a little bit too high, the level of corruption.
Well
So
said.
until we can deal with the corruption problem, yeah, and that will help in the psychological fight too, the psychological approach, because if you can show
People
the
start trusting
public,
now. Yep.
yeah, to show the public, say, listen, we no business who this person. We no matter who Mr. Watson is and what position him have and how much money him have, right? He's going to be arrested if he's involved in corrupt activities and placed before the court and dealt with accordingly. You
Definitely.
understand? So
Definitely.
we need to see politicians again. I mean, no, say people are gonna just say, boy, I talk, I talk, Mr. Watson, because that now happen. But the fact is that we need to see some politicians that get locked up when
Mm-hmm.
them get involved in corrupt activities, right? We already see police that get locked up, but we only want to see the little foot soldiers them will collect one money from one taxi man or one man on the road. We want to see the man them up at top
But
where
you see,
I collect the bigger money,
yeah, hold on there,
right?
Sir Watson. Sorry for cut
Yeah,
you because that is one of the questions. The person were asking about split screen. But for some strange reason that is not working. Else more than I do that from a long time, so it not work. So it must be a reason why you never see me on the screen. Like, you understand what I say? Yeah, man. So watch me now, sir. Sir Watson. Many persons were concerned that Chucky Brown during his testimony to Indicom would have indicated that he was acting on instructions given to him by his superiors. And many persons
Right.
are saying, okay, so Chucky said the squad was about 16 persons. I know that about 10 persons would have faced the court so far. But what happened now to this? So person are asking, what is happening to the superior officers who would have provided the resources as per what Chucky Brown said and would have given the instructions? No officer who was higher than Brown would have been implicated and arrested. So that is a part of the problem. So that brings me right back to what you were saying. So irrespective of where you are in the JCF or where you are in governance or government, if you run afoul of the law, then you should be made to pay the consequences like any ordinary Jamaican citizen.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And this is something I've always said. I mean, one of the things that I remember doing press releases, and one of the things I would say at the end of the press release is that no one is above the law. Absolutely no one. And I don't know if the executive members of MOCA understand that statement. And there's no doubt in my mind that they understand. But it is a very serious statement. When you say that no one is above the law, it means no one. And so you can just look at the little foot soldiers them and take out little foot soldiers them and take out the man them who are lead the foot soldiers. You understand? And it's the same thing that we see in crime fighting. If you just take out little man them in the streets, little man them on the road, right? We are carry out the instructions of the big boss then. You will continue to have the problem, you know.
But it's simple enough, sir. Watson. You cut off the head of the snake dies.
Exactly. And that is a true statement. But we are not seeing much of that. You understand? We just what we're seeing is that we see the cut down at the, as we say, we see the cut down at the foot soldiers them, but the big man them still up at top around things and recruit more foot soldiers to continue the activities. You know? So until we can get down to the bottom of this, I mean, I serving in the JCF, I did what I could. You understand? And as I said before, I've always stood my ground in the organization. I did not allow anyone to influence me in the wrong way. I remember some police officers, some senior officers would have said to me, say, you know, say you're not police yet. And I said, what do you mean that I'm not police? I said, I do not have to act like every other police. My thing is that is the biggest problem with the organization. We believe that, police officers are supposed to be a set of people who all them do is go on and say, boy, yo, we have the power to do this, and them lock up people and box down people and kick down people. That's not what policing is about. You know, policing is about, upholding the law and fighting crime in a very intelligent way. You understand me, sir? And so what we find in Jamaica is more intelligent. What we find that we need in Jamaica, rather, is more intelligent crime fighting methodology.
And more intelligence-driven policing.
And more intelligence-driven policing. But then that leads us to the next problem again, which goes back to corruption, where you find citizens are willing. Let me tell you something. Teach them. I hear police talk about all the time, say, boy, they now get information from citizens and so on. I can tell you that citizens are not afraid to give the police information when they know that them can't trust the police. I have personally experienced that. People contact me on a regular basis and just give me information. Me see police take out man where me not have nothing to do with that the division there. Me out of that division there. And me could have tell them everything about the man where them take out. Because guess what? The intelligence come to me. You understand me? I said people just
feel like they can trust you. That is important.
Exactly. And
community policing, you know?
Exactly. You know, so I think that until the police can build credibility, right, we're going to continue to have a problem in Jamaica. We have some little police out there, them just as soon as they get the information, then gone back to the criminal with the information. I see that firsthand. I mean, one of the things that we used to do when
But
I
that's
was
a
on the lottery.
dangerous thing, you know, Mr. Watson.
Yeah, of course. Of course. And I mean, one of the things that I personally, agreed with, and what we used to do when especially during the height of the fight, the lottery scam fight, was that for police officers who we had outside of the lottery scam task force who was coming on our operations, we just said to them, we don't give them no information as it relates to who we are going to pick up and who we are going. We just give them a general briefing and make them know, say, boy, all right, listen, this subject, you understand, it's an unknown threat, and this is how we want you to deal with it, right? And that's it, because guess what? We never want to run the risk of telling anybody what we're up to, and by the time we get to the place, the man, you understand, the target take for themselves. So, and I know that is sad that we had to operate that way, but that is how we had to operate in order to be successful. And many of my colleagues who worked on the task force at the time can tell you that if we did not operate like that, we would not have been as successful as we were.
True.
You understand? Yeah.
All right. So, Sir Watson, another big part of the public discourse as it relates to crime and crime fighting in Jamaica is the death penalty. Personally, before you even say anything, my perspective on the death penalty is that it would be a necessary tool in the crime fighting approach, but I do not know personally that the death penalty will be as significant in the reduction of crime as many persons are making it out to be. So, what is your take on the death penalty? We know that it is still on the books, but it's not being utilized. What is your take as to its use or lack thereof? All right, we should then just get rid of the death penalty totally.
All right, teacher, I gotta tell you something. I don't know, you probably picked this up already, but I'm a humanitarian.
Me figure that. Me just said that in my
Right.
statement just now, but
Yeah,
I'll leave
man.
it up
I'm
to you.
I'm a humanitarian, and I believe that it is possible to reform people. I also believe that we have to tread very carefully when we talk about death penalty and them something there, because I'm sure you have heard of cases where persons are found guilty and them upon them they're sent, we call
Death
it
row. Death row.
death row, them upon death row, and some new breakthrough in the case shows that none of them commit the crime.
Yes.
So we have to take these things into consideration, and we have to balance the arm of the justice system here, and realize that bringing in back the death penalty I don't believe that is really the solution. The solution is really about trying to reform people. I understand that if somebody commits a crime that deserves the death penalty, may agree with somebody spending a lifetime in prison. I don't know if we have the resources to facilitate them people.
A lot of life sentences.
You understand? I don't know. But then that is where preventative measures have to be put in place, because it can't be that the only solution is to kill a man because him deserve to dead. You understand?
But Mr. Watson, let's face it though, being a humanitarian and all, some of them deserve it. Because when you have a man going in a house and kill 6 people and 4 of them are children, like, there's no way, Sir Watson, you can really tell me that a man that deserve to keep him life. That's just because I don't think that the death penalty is for every situation. But with the death penalty, you're going to know, say, okay, if a man do this specific thing, then he should be put to death. So it can't be a willy-nilly thing. Every man will kill a man, you kill him. But I'm saying there are some instances, because, Sir Watson, imagine a man in a house. He probably do some things, but a man walk in and kill him 4 children, plus him mother, sir. A man enough to live, sir. That's my personal view upon that.
But then I can look on it a different way, though, not teaching, because I can say to you that, listen, giving a man the death penalty is the easy way out for him. You understand?
Not a, and
It,
some
yeah,
man don't want to
because
get still, Sir Watson.
yeah, me know, but guess what? Some man, so to me, it is the easy way out for some man. It's only that allow him to do it to himself, and you are do it for him. You understand? So him can say, "Boy, Lord, forgive me." And when you do it, he must say, "Boy, yeah, me have a chance to go." That is if you're religious. I'm just saying. But it could be that if you make this man sit down in a prison and think about him, the act that he has done, you understand, and him go through certain little things, that to me
It's worse
probably
than
create
killing him.
yeah, worse than killing him, because you have him a live with something for the rest of his life. You know, I'm just saying
I
that, and
understand your perspective on the
yeah,
thing,
and
Sir
we
Watson.
and tell you, yeah, and tell you what, I mean, don't get me wrong. I respect your views, and I know that a lot of persons would want to see this happening, but that's just not my
No,
view,
man, I
really.
understand that totally, man. Because as I said, I am not somebody who think the death penalty will solve Jamaica crime problem like many other. It just won't. You understand? But I think it will be a deterrent for some persons, and I think it will send a message that we are not into any foolishness as a nation. But I will always tell people that the reason why we had the death penalty was because people are kill people, so you're not going to
Yeah,
stop the thing. So I just wanted to hear your view. But speaking to
yeah.
you, I
But you,
realized
but you
that you
do,
would have taken a more humanitarian stance on it,
yeah.
though.
But you do know that, putting in, implementing the death penalty won't necessarily solve the problem.
I have said that many times, sir.
Right.
Many times.
Yeah, it won't necessarily solve the problem. As we said, we have outlined, I have outlined some of the things that need to change. And, you know, Sergeant Watson, as an individual, did his part, but it has to be a concerted effort. You have to have everybody up on the one page. And as far as me see it now, I do not believe the JCF as an organization is really united in its thinking among all its members. You understand? And that is one of the biggest problems. If we can get a unified JCF who has everyone having the same goal, the same vision and the mission, same mission, I think we actually would get to see some results. We would start seeing some results. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Interesting. All right. You'd have spoken about Zozo. I realize I see your stance on the SOE. I was going to talk to you about its effectiveness in your mind. I locked there off. But do you think that it should have continued? I realize that you're not for the SOE, but you are more for the zones of special operations.
All right.
But read the SOE. There were three of them, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that they should have continued when they were discontinued?
All right. So this is my take on it. The SOE, I believe, was necessary for a period of time.
Yeah.
But it cannot be that you have a tool that is used in a situation when crime is out of hand, and you use it for curtail crime, and you just have it a go on without establishing any crime fighting strategy, anything to put in place. Because you just can't remember, no, the SOE did a stifle
Businesses.
us financially, yeah, businesses,
True.
and yeah. And it really never looked good either. On the contrary, that we had this extended SOE just to curtail murders, for a period of time. You understand? So my take on it is that I believe that the SOE should have been extended and given time for a proper crime fighting strategy to be put in place, but not indefinitely.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that the government should now come and say, all right, we're going to implementing a SOE without giving any deadline at all. I believe that a part of being progressive is that you're going to say that, listen, we believe that we need at least 1 year of SOE, right, to curtail the current situation and to formulate a proper crime strategy. And at the end of this 1 year, we will start in the implementation process, or if it is something that is required to be implemented over the duration of the SOE. You understand? But you can't just come and establish a SOE indefinitely. That is my problem,
Yeah, and I'm
right?
totally agreeing with you. I think it,
Yeah,
it, it served a purpose. I think there
right.
would have been successes. As it relates to the human right aspect of it, there were some things that definitely needed to have been addressed and stuff. But I think that it might have continued for a bit longer, and it's just what it is, though. But we'll see what happens as we go forward. So, because we know we never plan to talk so long, and we have to go wrap up
Yeah,
soon
yeah,
and quick. You
yeah,
understand? We know
man.
it's a family man, you know. All right. Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, effectiveness, effort being made, performance, how do you grade him?
All right. So I want to chat very lightly here
Yeah.
because I tell you what, I'm going to say this. The job of the commissioner is a very
It's
difficult
difficult
one.
job. Mm-hmm.
It's a very difficult one. And remember, say as me say, and me continue to emphasize this, he might inherit some dinosaur
True.
in the system. And no matter how good him be, him not gonna be able to get rid of them, You understand? And you gotta have some people are resisting too because I mean he's an army man. What?
Yes, that is
Army
the
man,
next thing. Army man are doing
I
I
can
force.
run I
Yes.
can run the force, him don't know nothing. So you find that kind of resistance. But um I think that based on his performance, I think that he is um I think that his performance is fairly good. I would not say that it is excellent,
Mm-hmm.
but it is fairly good. Um, as I said before, he would need the support. I think he has been doing well with the resources that he has, and as it relates to his strategies. I think he was very instrumental in the establishment of Zozo.
I know that
Yeah,
much.
yeah, he was very instrumental in that. And I think he has some good ideas. The problem with that is why I can't really speak to his performance, just like how I had a problem speaking to the performance of the previous two um,
Commissioners.
commissioners, is that I do not believe the commissioner of police get as much support from you know members of his executive team as much as they should have. Like I personally see some bottleneck up there where a man I said, boy, I me should be commissioner. I bet me can do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So him now give the support to this man because him want this man to look bad. And that is why one of the reasons my take on it was at one point, and I know a whole heap of police officer go vex with me if I say this. But when I saw them put him in the commissioner's position, I said, you know what, this man should have bring at least four other people with him
From the
at the
military.
exec and put at the executive level where that we can get things done. You
Done with
understand
him.
me? I
Yeah.
said,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because the problem that previous commissioners face is that everybody want to be commissioner of police. You understand? Just for the position, but nobody don't want to carry the weight.
Do
You
you
understand?
entertain that ambition though?
To be commissioner of police.
Yes.
Um, I tell you what, we all aspire to be great, and I think that for me, it's an opportunity that I probably would welcome in the future when I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
That if I ever get there, I believe that I am still evolving, I'm still learning, I'm still acquiring knowledge, you know. But I think that if it comes to that point sometime in the future, I would welcome it. You know what I mean? Um, but I can tell you that the commissioner of police position is a very difficult one, and that is why the police commissioner gets so much money. You understand? Him get more money than the prime minister,
Yeah, I know that his
right?
salary is bigger than the prime minister's.
Is bigger than the prime minister because it's not an easy job. It's a very difficult job. And once I personally sat inside the commissioner's office, I was a previous commissioner, of a previous commissioner, and for the 10 minutes that I was in there, we only spoke for 2 minutes. You understand?
Busy.
Because yeah, man, very busy, and so I would say that for this commissioner, you know, slowly but surely, they're putting things in place, and over time we'll probably see that materializing. You understand?
Yeah.
You know, so I think the important thing now is for the JCF to balance its short-term objectives with its goals, its long-term, you know,
That's a brilliant statement, you know,
strategies.
Sir Watson.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So there needs to be a balance, and as a military man, you
discipline.
know, yeah, disciplined and well trained, and I think that he should be able to get the JCF to that place.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
my
make we
view.
see. Well, for our
Yeah,
sake, I hope so. For our sake,
yeah,
I definitely hope so.
right. But as a civilian, well, I'm not a civilian too. But what do you think of the
Of the
commissioner now?
commissioner,
Yeah,
personally, I think that ground is being covered. I think that progress has been made, even though it is probably slow progress. But slow progress is better than no progress. And I think as somebody who's coming out of the military and with the experience that he has had, and he would have worked along with the high command of the police force and many intelligence operation before, so it's not like it's new to him. And one of the things
right.
that I think is in his favor, and I say this with no apologies, he's a friend of the prime minister, and I think that
Yeah,
the prime minister will not allow him to fail, and he will probably get the resources that some other commissioners before him were not afforded.
right.
That's it
Which
right there.
which Yeah, which I mean, and we have to be careful too with where that is concerned, because what we would really want, the ideal situation would be that anybody who who is in that
Has no
position
biases.
get the
Our
support that they need,
associations, yes,
regardless, you know
are
what I
who
mean?
them
And
friendly.
exactly. Unfortunately,
It is what it
that is in
is.
an ideal world.
Yes,
but
yes.
it is what it is, you know what I mean?
It is
So,
what it is. So
yeah,
that is
man.
my take. I think that he will be given the support because of
Yeah,
the people who he would have been. He was the advisor to the prime minister, the national security advisor. You understand?
right.
Before he became commissioner. So I think he will be given some. So I mean, look at the budget for the security forces this year compared to
Yeah,
the budget before. You understand?
right.
Some over $24 billion right there. You understand?
Right.
So I mean, irrespective of who is there, as long as that person understands that as Jamaican law-abiding citizens, we need to feel a sense of protection and safety, and we need to
Right.
be able to say to ourselves and our family, when we give the police information, we don't have to worry about the police them and them friend them come kick down the door and kill we. You understand? So it
Yeah.
will take time because, as I've said earlier, it would have taken us a long time to get where we are. So it will take probably the same period or even a longer time to fix the problem. You
Right.
understand? But I
I
think
agree.
he is somebody who has the skill sets to make a difference, to make the change,
Yeah.
and with the support that I think he will be given because of what I would have pointed out just now, I think that something can come out of this. And as I said,
Yeah.
for me, who will be living in Jamaica, because Mr. Watson, I have no intention of going anywhere. That's just me. You understand? I
Right.
am a
Right.
patriot. I
Right.
know you are a patriot as well, but your thing is taking you elsewhere. But for now, I
Right.
see myself in Jamaica. And for
Right.
me and my children and family and friends, I hope that this commissioner starts to get it right and somebody will come and build on that and build on that.
Right.
Just
Right.
my
Right.
thing. All right, Mr. Watson.
Yeah,
Your
man. So
worst moment or memory as a serving member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force?
my worst moment. You know something? I don't know if if I can really say that I've had any moment that is so bad that it's worth talking about. Um,
Interesting.
I mean, I think as it is with anything else, you will have situations, that you have to face, bad situations that you'll have to face. But really and truly, being in the JCF has been a good journey. Um, I'd say one. All right, when you say worst moment, this is something that have stood with me from it happened until now, and this is one of the things that kind of put in my mind that, you know what, we have some people in this organization that really need to go. Um, I remember some time ago I was asked by some persons from the US to attend a presentation, and I was actually asked to be one of the presenters um, to the audience. And this audience would have had persons from the US and persons from the justice system here, like judges and prosecutors and so on. And I remember when I reached the venue in Kingston, I collected my name tag, and I was told that I would be the third speaker of the day. I went in, I was brought to my seat, I sat down. Shortly thereafter, I saw a particular commissioner, assistant commissioner of police, came inside. He looked around for a little, and when he saw me, he came over and he said, "Mr. Watson, here what happened. So when they call you, you're going to keep your seat. Do not get up. This thing is bigger than you." Right? I'm
Interesting.
the commissioner of police. I'm a commissioner. I will be going up there to speak. Now, this was a presentation that has to do with lottery scamming, and
You were on
I've
the
been dealing.
ground.
I
Yes.
was always on the ground, and that's one of the main reasons I was asked to do it. But I think it was one of my worst moments because it felt a little embarrassing. I felt really undermined. He went when they called my name to make the presentation. He went up and then told the audience that this was a little bigger than me.
Oh, you actually did that.
Yes, he did that.
Yeah, I would have
And
felt undermined and
yeah,
embarrassed
it
as well.
was, yeah, I felt so embarrassed that day. I think that was one of the most embarrassing moments for me in the organization. Um, so I've had others, and as I've always said this, teach them that I got more respect from my colleagues, from my lateral ranks and ranks
Mm-hmm.
below me,
Mm-hmm.
than from persons at the executive level. And I often say I don't know what kind of a threat I present to these persons, why I was dealt with the way I was dealt with at times. But
Stop the man them
it is,
food, Sir Watson.
yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And so that was, so if I was to talk about the most embarrassing time for me or the worst time for me in the organization, it would be that. Everything else, it's I mean, I believe that my experiences as a police officer during the execution of my duties were just things that I'd expect. You know, there were no surprises for me going out there as a police because I saw it. I saw it all. I've seen persons being riddled with gunshots.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on murder scenes where, you know, a man and his wife was shot, a woman shot in her head while cringing her pillow. I've seen, children being shot. Like I've seen it all serving in the JCF. So there was, you know, it's just something that you came to really live with, as a police officer. I mean, it was tough sometimes. You go back home, sometimes you can't sleep because of what you saw during the day, during executing your duty. So I know it's really tough for police officers, you know. So yeah.
Alright, so what would have been your most memorable moment? Probably most gratifying or satisfying, or that one moment where every time you remember you smile and you feel a sense of achievement as a serving member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Oh boy, teach them. The Jamaican people make me feel that every single day. And so to pinpoint any one moment, it would be very difficult because I'm going to tell you something. If it was only for the Jamaican people that show them gratitude and appreciation, I probably would have said, you know what?
I
This school thing can stay. Me I go stay with the organization because I tell you, Jamaicans, I love them. I love Jamaicans. I am made. I feel like a hero every day I go out there, and I'm going to be honest with you. I feel the love from the Jamaican people. I get it every single day. Every time I go out and somebody see me, them say, "Boy, Mr. Watson, good work. We appreciate you." And that alone make me all day. You understand? Me no want nothing else but that. When me go out there and a Jamaican come up to me and say, "Boy, Mr. Watson, you're doing a great job." That alone is good enough for me. You know? So I
Me know
experienced
them
those.
weird as a teacher still.
Yeah, man. So you realize that it's hard for you to pinpoint a single moment where one situation make you feel good because every time you go out there, you have a Jamaican,
I love.
yeah, where show love and make you feel good. You know what I mean? So I love my Jamaican people. A lot of Jamaicans want to see Jamaica get better, and I saw that while serving as a police officer. You understand?
The Royal General asked if you have ever sought psychological help to deal with some of the things that you would have seen.
Um, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a very strong person psychologically. Um, I've never sought out psychological help, but I'm a man who have a very strong belief in God. And, I grew up in a Christian family. My mother is a praying mother. You understand? And usually if I'm feeling down, me just need to talk to my mother. And she tell me, say, "Boy, son, just bow your head and I'm going to say a prayer." And by the time she done pray, me good again.
Ready again for your road.
Ready again for the road. You
Alright.
understand? But I've never really got to that point where me I said to myself, say, "Boy, say, you know, me need psychological help. Me can't deal with this." No. I think when you have a deep faith in God and trust in God and you grow up a particular way, you understand? It helps you to deal with a whole heap of these things. So, yeah.
So I know that I asked you if you entertain any thoughts in the future of being commissioner, but will you ever be back, separate and apart from the commissioner work, if that opportunity ever presents itself? Will you ever be back serving as a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force? Can you foresee that? Or that is just out of the window?
I will never say never. And I tell you something, I've seen persons who have left the organization and come back and, go back in the organization and they're making a difference. So I would never say never. I mean, I would entertain it in the future, of course. I mean, as I said before, I love my country. And if I'm being placed in a position to make a difference, of course, I would consider it. Let me say this: the JCF is a good organization, and you have good people in the organization. Jamaica is a wonderful little country, and anything that I can do to make a contribution to make my country great, I will do it. So I
Amen,
will
brother.
never, ever say never. And how can I stay away from Jamaica? Eh? It's a beautiful, sweet little country to live, and I'm not going to beat around the bushes with that. It's a nice country, understand? We just, as most Jamaicans would have said, you know, we just need little money when you're there, Jamaica. You understand me? I
Just
say
need to survive.
it need to survive. Are you good?
Yeah, you're good.
A very wonderful place, man. So, if it's God's will, after pursuing all of these goals, I honestly intend to pursue a PhD, and not because I believe that it is going to help me career wise, but it is just a goal that I have had you know in me from ever since. You understand that the end goal for me is to achieve that level of education. And once I've achieved that, then I know that one of my main goals would have been achieved. That's it for me.
And as an educator, I can only respect that. And I
Yeah,
know that speaking to you, even before we started the interview, that you are a driven person. And I'm sure that
yeah,
one day I'll interview you again and I'll say, Dr. Kevin Watson. Ain't
yeah, man, of course.
so just go and push it. See, now you're gonna wrap
Yes,
me.
my
I'll give you
brother.
the last words, but from one Jamaican patriot, from one Jamaican civil servant to a former one, I just want to take the opportunity to say, well done on all the wonderful work that you would have done, all the contribution you would have made to this country. We need many, many, many more Jamaicans with the vision, with the courage, with the fight, and with the integrity that you have, and we will become the great nation that we should have been, or still can be. You understand? And
Yeah,
whatever endeavor you take on now, I wish for you all the best, for you and the family all the best. And I am sure that one day, for some strange reason, I know you're not tell me explicitly, but when the commissioner job come up again, me go hear say Dr. Kevin Watson would have applied.
well, well, let us see, I mean, as I said before, we don't know what the future holds, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to thank you for inviting me on the program. I've been watching some of your videos, and I like the work. I like, what you've been doing with the channel and so on. And I really appreciate you reaching out to me through Jay Chrissy. Jay
Mm-hmm.
Chrissy, big up yourself. Jay Chrissy is one of my regular viewers. So thank you very much for having me on your program, and we keep the link.
Yes, Father Watson. A simple one,
Yeah,
true man.
man.
I really
All
appreciate the
right.
fact see you take some time to come through and pass through and the link live, man. So just go and do great things and we're there.
All right, my
Walk good,
brother.
my brother.
Yeah, take care. Yeah, man.
Blessings.
Yeah.
Teach them. Hey, yo, yellow. Send the message and make it reach them. It's teach them. Right here. Warlord representing.
Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below. Remember to like and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. Follow me on social media and check out the suggested videos on screen. This is Stg saying, until next time, walk good, my friends.